What do you remember of your life before?
Bits and pieces. Like I'm convinced that I was born and raised in Indianapolis. I have some very vivid memories of living in Denver, Colorado.
Okay, and then your name, Benjaman Kyle, where did that come from?
When I was in the hospital, the ward clerks would come in and they would demand to know the last name. We have to have a last name for our records. And they would literally yell and scream at me, practically demanding that I give them a last name. And they were calling me BK Doe because I was found behind a Burger King. So I just picked Kyle. That was the only name beginning with a K that I could think of. And I told him my name was...
The Man with No Name, The Mystery of Benjaman Kyle. The early morning of August 31st, 2004, in Richmond Hill, Georgia, a quiet town just south of Savannah, was shattered by a chilling discovery. Behind a Burger King on US Highway 17, an employee, Sun Yo Hour, stepped out to toss the trash. What she found stopped her cold. A man, naked, unconscious, and sprawled near a dumpster, his body covered in fire ant bites, sunburned and bruised. Paramedics rushed him to Memorial Health University Medical Center, noting signs of blunt force trauma to his head, possibly from a brutal beating. He had no wallet, no ID, no possessions, just a body clinging to life. Hospital staff dubbed him Burger King Doe, a placeholder for a man with no name. But when he awoke, the mystery deepened. Welcome to Legends Unveiled, where we unravel history's darkest mysteries. Tonight, we dive into the enigma of Benjaman Kyle, the man who forgot his entire life, a puzzle that baffled the world for over a decade. Scene 2, A Life Erased, the Amnesia Enigma. In the hospital, the man stirred, his blue-green eyes blinking in confusion. He couldn't answer the simplest questions. Who are you? Where are you from? He didn't know. Doctors diagnosed him with dissociative amnesia, a rare condition where the mind blocks out personal memories, often due to trauma. He couldn't recall his name, his family, or his past, but he had faint, fragmented memories. Flashes of Indianapolis, a state fair, the University of Colorado Library in Boulder, and skills tied to restaurant work like fixing a stove. He believed his name might be Benjaman, spelled with 2 A's, and chose the surname Kyle to match the Burger King initials, BK. Thus, he became Benjaman Kyle, a name that felt vaguely familiar but led nowhere. For the next 11 years, he lived in limbo, a man without an identity in a world that demands one. How could someone vanish so completely in the modern age? Scene 3, A Desperate Search, the National Spotlight. Benjaman's story spread like wildfire. The FBI listed him as a missing person, ironically, the only American whose whereabouts were known yet still classified as missing. His fingerprints yielded no criminal record, and missing persons databases turned up nothing. He appeared on Dr. Phil in 2008, where host Phil McGraw paid for a hypnotist to unlock his memories, unsuccessfully.
Various missing. He was found beaten, naked, and unconscious behind a Burger King in Richmond Hill, Georgia, 4 years ago with no form of identification, no driver's license, no social security card, no birth certificate. Effectively, he did not exist on paper. Let's take a look.
The cleaning woman at the Burger King found me just before they opened.
Local news, Reddit threads, and web sleuths communities buzzed with theories, but leads, like a supposed sighting at a Waffle House in Kennesaw, Georgia, fizzled out. Benjaman took DNA tests, revealing distant matches to the Powell and Davidson families, hinting at a possible lineage in the Western Carolinas or Pacific Northwest. Forensic genealogist Colleen Fitzpatrick built a family tree but hit dead ends, and Benjaman later accused her of unethical behavior, severing ties. By 2012, he lived in a 5-by-8-foot shack in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, washing dishes for cash, unable to work legally without a social security number. A 2011 documentary, Finding Benjaman, premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival, amplifying his plea, "You don't know who I am, and neither do I." Yet no one came forward to claim him. Scene 4. A breakthrough, the genetic revelation. In 2015, genetic genealogist C.C. Moore took on Benjaman's case, using advanced DNA analysis to unravel the mystery. She compared his DNA to public databases, meticulously tracing his lineage. After years of dead ends, Moore found a match: a disabled Vietnam veteran named Furman Powell in Lafayette, Indiana. Furman was stunned when Moore called. Benjaman Kyle meant nothing to him, but the name William Burgess Powell did. William was Furman's younger brother, missing since 1976. Born on August 29, 1948 in Lafayette, William had cut ties with his family, abandoning his car and trailer, and moved to Boulder, Colorado, with a co-worker named Götz. Social Security records showed him working in Denver restaurants until 1983, then nothing. His family had filed a missing persons report, but after 4 decades, they assumed he was dead, which is why they didn't recognize him on national media. On November 21, 2016, Benjaman Kyle announced his true identity on Facebook, William Burgess Powell. One memory had been correct: his birth date the same as Michael Jackson's just 10 years earlier. Scene 5. A troubled past, the roots of disappearance. William's rediscovery opened a window into his past, but also raised new questions. His childhood in Lafayette was marked by trauma. His father, Furman Sr., a quiet, angry man with possible PTSD from military service, targeted William, his mother's favorite, for regular, brutal abuse. His mother hoarded clothes and porcelain angels, filling their Queen Anne home with chaos. At 16, William left to live with another family, working odd jobs as a janitor, loader, and handyman. By 1976, at 28, he fled Indiana entirely, cutting all ties. In Boulder, he lived alone, unfurnished and friendless, telling Götz to keep his machinist tools for when he'd return, a promise never kept. After 1983, William vanished from records. Did he live off the grid, homeless, or under another name? Some speculate a dissociative fugue state, a psychological escape from trauma, might have erased his identity long before 2004, possibly resurfacing as Benjaman in those missing years. Scene 6, The Unanswered Night, what happened in 2004? The 2004 incident remains a haunting mystery. William was found with head injuries, suggesting a violent assault, perhaps a mugging, a drug-related incident, or a random attack. Hurricane Charlie had hit Georgia that month, possibly displacing him. Some on web sleuths theorized he might have schizophrenia, with the amnesia tied to mental illness rather than trauma, though no diagnosis supports this. Others wondered if he'd been living as Benjaman for years, only to lose that identity too. The ant bites and sunburn indicate he'd been exposed for hours, but no criminal investigation was launched until 2007, and no suspects were identified. Neuropsychiatrist Michael Kopelman notes that dissociative amnesia can stem from head injuries, psychological stress, or both. William's case fits this profile, but the exact trigger remains elusive. Could this have been a final break from a life already fractured by pain? Scene 7, A New Beginning. With his identity restored, William Burgess Powell reclaimed his life. On September 22, 2016, the Orlando Sentinel reported he received a Florida ID card through iDignity, an organization aiding the homeless. He now had access to public assistance and legal employment, a far cry from the shack in Jacksonville Beach. Hot Snakes Media filmed a documentary, Finding Benjaman, under an NDA, hinting at more to his story. William returned to Lafayette, a town he barely remembered, to reconnect with his brother Furman. but the 20-year gap from 1983 to 2004 remains a void. Was he homeless, itinerant, or living under another name? Did the 2004 beating erase a second life he'd built as Benjaman? While the official narrative points to a tragic case of amnesia, some question if William knew more than he let on, perhaps guarding a past too painful to share. To be clear, this story is a retelling of documented accounts. As with all mysteries we explore, what if there's more beneath the surface? What are your thoughts on this enigma? Share your opinions in the comments. Do you believe William's amnesia was purely trauma? Or could there be another layer to his lost years? Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more chilling mysteries on Legends Unveiled. Let's keep unraveling the unknown.